Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Today we are joined by Lauren O'Connell, a beauty expert and the beauty editor at Cosmo Middle East. Recently, she broke the internet and a bell by sharing the footage of her final round of chemo celebrations. Here to tell us about her journey. Welcome to the show, Lauren. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Exciting chat.
Thank you so much for being here again, and thank you for sharing your journey. And regarding that, it's an inspiration to many, of course. So what made you decide to actually share your journey?
Well, I always knew I wanted to share my journey, but I just didn't want to do it at that time. I wanted to wait. And I specifically wanted to wait till I was done with chemotherapy, just because I knew that the chemotherapy was going to be very intense. I was on the hardest type of chemotherapy that exists for breast cancer. And I just wanted to preserve my energy to kind of create my own sacred space around me and just not have tons of messages always coming through on my phone. I just wanted everything to be quiet so I could really just focus on my healing.
Wow. The video of you ringing the bell, I think it gave us all goosebumps. And I know that it's an inspiration to many. So for myself as well, thank you for sharing it. Can we go back to, like, I guess, learning about your diagnosis? How did you find out?
So I was at home one day. I was either at the very end of November or the beginning of December. I can't quite remember. But I was actually looking at emails, and I was in my office, and I just took a few minutes to do a quick breast self-exam. Just the idea came to me, and I did do them quite regularly, but something said to me, do one now. And I did, and I felt a lump right away. And it was on my right breast at sort of the 12 o'clock mark, if you think of it as a clock. And I thought to myself, this cannot possibly be breast cancer. It must just be some sort of cyst. It must be something else. But I'm a big advocate for health and my own health. So I made an appointment anyways to go get it looked at. And when I went and got it checked, the radiologist told me, my general practitioner palpated it. They sent me right over to radiology, which I have to say I love Dubai for being just so quick on everything. And then he said to me, let's do a biopsy on it. So I still didn't think it was going to be anything, and I figured it was just routine protocol. And then a few weeks later, I found out that it was indeed breast cancer. So I have to say, though, as soon as I felt the lump, I went in, and I feel like I caught it pretty early.
Can I just ask quickly, what did it feel like? Because I myself, I'll do a regular check, but sometimes I'm like, isn't that?
It felt to me like there was a hard little ball inside my breast, almost, or maybe a walnut, but like the walnut with the shell. And so it felt like a pretty sizable mass. And actually mine wasn't even that big, but I could just feel it, and it just felt so irregular that I knew something was up.
Can you tell us about the treatment journey, of course, because it's not very easy, and as well, if you can walk us through as well the cold capping?
Oh, yes. So cold capping actually works for so many women, and unfortunately it didn't work for me. And that's because, like I said earlier, I was on such a hard chemo regimen. There's lots of different types of chemotherapies. So the one that I had, they told me initially it would be a 50-50 try, but I decided to go for it just to see if maybe I was going to be in that lucky 50%. But what the cold capping is you have ice that's negative 50 degrees Celsius, so it is freezing cold, and you have it put on your head with a cap wrapped around it, and every 15 minutes the cap comes off and you get another set of the dry ice put on your head. So it basically freezes your head, and that prevents the chemo from reaching your hair follicles, because what happens is the chemo kills any rapidly producing cells, which are cancer cells. Unfortunately, they're also our hair, right? So all my hair ended up falling out, and well, not all, almost all, I would say about 80% in week 3. And then I said, you know what, we need to just shave my head. So my husband, my daughter, and my son all took turns, and we just shaved it off. And I have a video of that on my Instagram as well.
We've seen it. You obviously had a lot of loving family support the whole way through.
Yes, luckily I did.
What was, I guess, their reaction? And what was your reaction also to finding out that you had, in fact, breast cancer?
Everyone was really upset. Actually, I didn't tell my kids, though, till after Christmas, because I wanted them to have, one more happy holiday before they got the terrible news. I personally found out 10 days before Christmas. So my husband knew and my parents knew. I didn't tell anyone else though, not my siblings, nobody, until after Christmas. And when I told my kids, they were devastated. My son looked at me, and my son is, very much a hi mom, bye mom type of kid. He's always running out in and out of the house with friends, and he just got really choked up, and he looked at me and he said, Mom, I don't want to lose you. And to me, that was just the most heartbreaking moment. And my daughter was devastated, but, I'm very open with my kids. And so, every question they were allowed to ask me anything they wanted. And I gave them as, honest and age appropriate an answer as I could. And we just got through it together as a family. I'm still in active treatment. I have radiation starting. And actually yesterday I went to go get my radiation scan, and they did not tell me this, but they gave me 3 tattoos, permanent tattoos. Really? Yes, I've never had a tattoo before. And the nurse just casually mentioned it. And I thought to myself, this is the stuff nobody talks about. I had no idea. So I feel like I'm here to make some noise. But the tattoos are somehow to align my body with the radiation machine. Wow. So when I receive the radiation, they're making sure it's targeted to the exact right area.
Strong woman, keeping that in to yourself over Christmas,
Yeah, that was tough. It was a tough Christmas, but I will say my kids made out because I got them so many gifts that Christmas. They got everything on their list because I knew what was coming.
Great mom.
Lucky them.
Yeah.
Now, as well, I want to say something because you're so strong. Speaking of how strong you are, of course, I have heard multiple times that mindset is a huge factor in healing. How are you able to, I would say, keep like this positive outlook and handle while handling all of the chemotherapy and so on?
Every day wasn't positive. I had a lot of dark moments, but I knew that I could get through it. I had the great support system around me. I had a lot of peace around me. And I've just always had a positive mindset. Like, I love life. I love living. And I didn't want to stop living. So I just said to myself, this is something I can get through. And I know that I have the internal strength to do it. And there were weeks where I was just in bed. I was so weak. I could not get up. I was nauseous all the time. The medications were killer. They really were. I did say to my doctor at one point, if you give me one more of this, I think I might die. But, I just wore lots of sweatpants, comfy clothes, and I just didn't worry about anything else. I read a lot of novels. I meditated. I'm very spiritual. And I just got myself through it day by day. I also am about to launch probably sometime between November, January, my own beauty brand. And it's something I've been working on for 2 years. I actually was going to launch it in May, but then because of the breast cancer, we pushed it back. So working on my beauty brand really gave me sort of like, it was like the pot of gold at the end of the cancer rainbow. So, it was something I was working towards, a big goal, and it's sort of the next chapter of my life. And I felt that going through breast cancer was actually going to challenge me in so many ways that would make me a better CEO and a better brand founder when I do launch my big brand.
Wow.
Massive congratulations. And we're very aware that we have beauty expert with us on the show. So we are going to talk about beauty a little bit for sure. But I wanted to ask, do you have any tips for example, if I know someone going through breast cancer, if my partner, for example, or if my mom, do you have tips for people to help you? What helped you from people? What was good, what was not good?
So the best thing that I had was people constantly checking in on me. And even one of my girlfriends once, she sent me a voice note and she said, I have no idea what to say to you because I leave you a voice note every day, but I'm just saying that I'm thinking about you. And that just made such a difference to me. Yeah, because also some people, they don't know what to do or they get a little bit scared and they kind of back away. Yep. And I sensed that as well with some people in my life. But the ones that really just stepped in and were always present, even if it was just a text that said, hi, I'm thinking of you, or a voice note or whatever, it was just, it it really was so comforting to me. And because I wasn't leaving my house at all, because my immunity, basically had the immunity of a newborn baby. There's so many side effects with the chemo, but one of them is that it just wipes out your immunity. So I couldn't leave the house. And if I did and I got really sick, it would push back my chemo program even more. And my goal, I just wanted to get it done as soon as I could. But, so people just checking in on me that way was just such a great feeling.
As well, I wanted to ask you, how were you able to actually keep it as a secret throughout and not go out for so long? Because I would, like, for example, like I'm trying to imagine myself in your position. I would be devastated. I would not know how to, it would take me a long time to process the fact that there is cancer and all of these things. I mean, how could you do it?
I was really resistant to it at first, and I gave my oncologist such a hard time about everything. And I said, you're ruining my life. Like, I'm a social person. I'm always going out. And not only that, but just, I gained so much weight from the steroids and just being basically lethargic all the time, but having a voracious appetite. And, I was really resistant to it, and then I surrendered to it. And instead of, fighting the fact that I basically had a complete life change, I accepted it. And I just started to stay in my house because I had no other choice. And I realized that I had so much more time with my kids. And as a family, we always play Mario Party together every night. So, we just started doing things like that. And my kids actually said to me, we love having you home all the time. But, of course, we don't want you to have cancer, but the kids were loving it. And I just kind of shifted my mindset. I knew it wasn't going to be forever, but it was going to be for just a little while. And why not just embrace it? Because I have no other choice. So I did. And it was difficult not going out. It was difficult not posting on Instagram all the time, because before I was quite a poster. But, I just accepted it, and I said, I'll come back, and I'll come back with a bang, literally, and I did. And the time went by, and I just, and found out so many other things that I enjoy in life. And it actually really made me realize that going forward in my life, I'm really reprioritizing how I spend my time, where I give my time to. And before, I was on the apps all the time. And, they suck you in. They're kind of addictive in a way. And then I said to myself, I'm still always going to be doing the apps because I love them, but I'm going to have better time management. Right. And, so it really kind of shifted me in so many different ways. And I think that's what I was getting back to earlier. It's going to make me just a better beauty brand founder and, CEO and all this sort of thing, because I just have different boundaries now in my life.
Can you describe the moment, how it felt for you to ring that bell?
Oh, it was fun. So I always do things big, and the hospital had never seen this before, but I had a party during my last infusion. I had balloons everywhere, Mardi Gras beads. I invited a bunch of my girlfriends. I mean, I decorated my IV pole. I was putting the Mardi Gras beads on all the nurses, and they were like, what is this? And
I love that so much. I love that so much.
My husband, he saw the cold capping guy, because, other women were getting cold cap on the floor. And my husband said, does everybody do this? And the man said to my husband, only your wife. But I made a cancer playlist. We had Spotify going. I had a cake made. I went all out. I even got new shoes, and they were very expensive. They're pink, and I love them. So when it came time to ring the bell, so my friends were there during the last infusion, and the nurse pulled out because it was through my chest. It was pretty intense. She pulled out the needle, and we were starting to celebrate. Then we went down to ring the bell. I had bought all those party popper type things, but they were the ones for, it's a girl, because they didn't have any breast cancer ones. Right. So, I gave everyone the party poppers. They did say for outdoor use only. And I said, well, let's just pretend we didn't see that. So when it came time for me to ring it, I'm a big fan of Selling Sunset. So I see how they ring the bell on that show. and I decided to have my moment, and I started ringing the bell. The bell's made for like a little ring, and I was just like going at it, and everyone's popping the things. There's pink everywhere, and the bell just fell into my hands, and I was like, oh, I broke their bell. So my daughter made fun of me because she's like, Mom, you put it right back on and kept ringing it. And I wanted to have my moment, and I did, and it was just so much fun. I felt too, like, symbolically breaking that bell meant I was never, ever, ever coming back.
On you.
Yeah.
It.
Well, you deserved it.
Thank you.
But I want to ask a question. If you would say, or if you can maybe give one, and maybe a sentence or a word, what did cancer or breast cancer teach you? And what advice would you give people who are diagnosed with breast cancer?
Cancer taught me resilience. And just that no matter what comes into my life from this day forward, I can handle it, because I feel like I have just been through the absolute worst. And so it's made me realize just how strong and resilient I am. And I think that as women, we just naturally are this way, and we have this inside of us. And it's really just about going within, finding it, and just kind of grabbing it and bringing it into your everyday life. And I think we do this anyways, but you know, having something like breast cancer is just so incredibly challenging. But I feel that I'm going to look back on it a few years from now, like when the trauma of it kind of subsides, and feel that it was actually one of the best things that happened to me.
Love your mindset so much. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Absolutely an inspiration to others. Before you leave us, Farah asked about advice. I'm going to do the same.
Okay.
Best beauty products. What should I be buying?
Oh gosh.
Your holy grail 3.
First thing you need to buy is Supergoop Play sunscreen.
Just bought it.
Really? Okay, wait,
It is
Supergoop.
such a fantastic product because it has so many ingredients that, well, first of all, not only does it give your skin great broad spectrum protection from UVA and UVB rays, you always want to wear it even when you're inside, because the UVA rays penetrate through windows, and those are the aging ones. So, but it has so many nourishing ingredients. It keeps skin so soft and supple. It's just glowing and healthy. So it's a fantastic, fantastic product. My second product, I think I would say, because it's just so universally flattering, is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick. You know, I was thinking about that this morning when I was getting ready. I was like trying different pinks to match my dress, and then I thought, I should just go for the Charlotte Tilbury. It's just always such a fan favorite. The third one is the product I'm coming out with, which I can't talk about it quite yet, but I would love to share with you guys when it does come out. And it's something that has not really been seen in the beauty world at all. And trust me, I see and review everything. It's innovative. It is great for girls on the go, or people that love to just have a little bit of luxury. And it's something that I think every woman, and probably man, are going to want to have in their skincare arsenal.
Can't leave it like that.
Interesting. Can't wait.
I'll send you one when it's ready. But it's a fantastic product. And actually, my daughter has been testing it with me throughout all the different trials, and she gave it the thumbs up, which is the biggest seal of approval, because she's tough. She's tough.
Amazing. We love inspiring female entrepreneur journeys as well. That is Lauren O'Connell, who is the beauty editor at Cosmo Middle East, soon to be CEO and breast cancer warrior. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Farah.
Thank you, Casey.
That is the end of the Lovin Dubai show. We're back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.